Hey class, today we're going to be solving for volume. Okay, first off, let's get another marker because we can see that. So, volume. Does anybody know anything about volume? Okay, volume is what is, if we look at this area right here, we're looking at what's inside of it. And what's inside of it, what it's full of, is volume. So, but first, before we go to volume, let's go to area, what we learned about last time. So area is multiplied by length times width. Okay, now if it's multiplied by length times width, so let's say if this is 5 inches and this is 2 inches, first off, where's our length and where's our width? Correct, nice job. So this would be our length and our width, because this is 2 blocks, this is, let's say it's 2 blocks tall, or 2 blocks wide, and 5 blocks long. Okay, so if we multiply it, 5 inches times 2 inches be 10 inches, correct? Okay, now, so everybody understands length times width by this point, correct? Well, now we're going to learn about volume. So volume is found by multiplying 3 different things this time. Instead of 2, it's 3. So we're going to have volume, which is solved by multiplying length times width times, we have a new word today, height. So when we're doing height, we're talking about how tall something is. How tall. Is Mr. Austin very tall? Yes. Okay, so if we were to learn length times width times height, we can't do it on a square like this, or a rectangle like this. Instead, we would be doing it on what is called a rectangular prism. So basically a 3D block. So if we had our same numbers from right here, 5 inches for our length and 2 inches for our width. So 5 inches for our length, 2 inches for our width. Where's the height? Correct, it would be how tall something is. So our height is measured by how tall something is. So our height would be 2 inches. Let's say 2 inches for right now. Let's say our block is 2 blocks tall, okay? So it'd be volume equals length times width times height. So it'd be 5 inches times 2 inches times 2 inches. So if we multiply these together, we get our 10, then we get multiplied another 2. So volume would equal, and what's 10 times 2? Well, if we multiply 2 times 0, that'd be 0. If we multiply 2 times 1, it would be 2. So our volume would be 20. Okay, well this is going to be what our class is going to do today. So we're going to use these small 3D blocks, our 3D squares, and we're going to stack them up, okay? So we're going to have a giant structure like this, and it's going to look really cool. and we're going to make sure we can multiply between it. So we're going to have a bunch of different cubes stacked up on each other. Well, our main goal is to try to fill in as much volume as we can inside these cubes, okay? So we're gonna try to stack as many cubes in here, but we can only stack the right amount. So if we had a block like this that has a length of 2 blocks, a width of 2 blocks, and a height of, let's say 7 blocks. Yeah, let's do 7 today. So if we had 7 blocks tall, so if we had, our volume would be 2 inches as our length times 2 inches as our width times 7 blocks as our height, okay? So we had to solve volume equals length times width times height. Well, let's first do length times width. What's 2 times 2? 4. Nice job. So we have 4 times, which is the length times the width. So we have 4 now. So now let's bring down to 7 so we can multiply 4 times 7. Okay? So what's 4 times 7? Does anybody know what 4 times 7 is? 28. Nice job. Okay? So we got to make sure when we're doing this that we are following these guidelines, okay? Okay, and for the students, and for some of the students, you guys have already learned this early, okay? So for some of the students who've learned it early, here's what you guys are going to do. Instead of multiplying a rectangular prism, you guys are going to be going over the volume of a triangle, okay? Our triangle. Okay? So we're going to have our triangle right here. Does anybody know what this means? This right here? This is our right angle, okay? So we have a right angle right here, okay? So this is how tall this triangle is. So this is our height. And down here, this is our base. Instead of length, it's our base, okay? So the formula for volume in a triangle would be volume equals 1/2, since we're just doing one side all together, times base times height. So let's say our height is 3 inches, our base is 4 inches, okay? So if we had volume equals 1/2 times 3 inches, let's do base first, 4 inches times 3 inches. So if we multiply 3 times 4, it would be 12, correct? So V equals 1/2 times 12. Well, remember what we learned last time? We always give the number, whenever we're multiplying fractions, we always give the number that does not look like a fraction, a 1 under it. So a 1 under it. So that way it looks like a numerator and a denominator. So if we multiply these together, it'd be V equals 12 over 2. Now if we did our long division, does 2 go into 12? Yes. It would be 6. It would be 6, yes. Okay, because 12 divided by 2 equals 6. Okay, that's an example. So for most of the class, I'm gonna have you guys split up into groups of 2 or 3, and you're gonna try to put as many of these blocks in here, but it can only be the correct number, but you guys have to work together to find out the correct number. And for the other students, you guys are gonna be working on the triangles for right now, okay? You're gonna be working on our triangles. And once you fill them up, go on to we're gonna have two sets of different numbers of blocks stacked onto each other. So we're gonna have some tall blocks, some short blocks, but you guys have to make sure you go into the right amount, okay? And same goes for the triangle. We're gonna try to put as many blocks inside the triangle to fill it up, okay? Now, make sure you guys are working together as a group for this, okay? Because I don't want anybody being by themselves. It could be 2 or 3. And once we're done this, we're gonna do a quick quiz. We're gonna do a little test to see if you really understand what you are doing, okay? Thank you and goodbye.